Did you have to think about this very hard, or was it a no-brainer? I want to be a dad again, let's have a baby.
No, initially it was my wife's idea.
Who is a lot younger than you,
Yeah, I went along with it because as usual, I said, well, let's wait a little bit longer. He said, no, it's too late now, or let's go now. So we had my beautiful Rosabella. That was 4 years ago. And then I was ready to wait a little bit longer because we wanted 2 for definite, but my wife again said, no, 2 years, that's it. So we've now got Angelo, and I'm the happiest man in the world.
And when's the next one due?
Well, it's funny you should say. We had a good night last night.
Oh, I see. So hang on. So this is an intention rather than... So your wife isn't pregnant at the moment? This is something you're going for? I see, I see.
No, I think 2's perfect, but as they say in life, who knows? But basically 2's right.
Yeah, I have to tell you that we've had a lot of response on Twitter and Facebook about this. I would say probably 2/3, 3/4 of people don't think it's a good idea, and some of them say that because they've got personal experience. They say that being the child of an old father who died or got very sick when they were quite small was very upsetting. And we've had one caller saying that she was born when her father was quite young, but then she had a brother about 30 years later, and he kind of became a carer for his dad and was affected by the experience afterwards. It wasn't a good deal for him. Do you not worried about any of that?
Not at all. No, I'm unique. I'm different. I'm me. And my family life is different from anybody's, and I love it for what it is. No one's going to be a carer for me. Maybe my wife towards the end. My kids are going to have a wonderful life. When I do leave, which is, I'm thinking about it, I might not go yet, because I've checked it out and I don't particularly like the idea. So I think I'm not going to go. But if I do go, I'm leaving them with their wonderful mother. And let's be fair, and they'll be financially secure.
They'll be very financially
for the rest
secure,
of their life. And this day and age, with the iPhones, they're going to have... I've got 18,000 photographs on my phone. 17,999 of my kids. So, you know, they're going to have lots of memories. We've been to Disneyland, and we're going to go again probably next year. So when the time comes, they'll remember me, hopefully, with great love and affection. And I will have given them a great start in life. That's how I see it.
So, Lucy, Peter's a great advert. He's never been happier. He's fit as a flea, he's running around, he's celebrating being a father at 77. And we never know what's around the corner.
You never know what's around the corner.
You could be a dad at 22 and something
still go.
ghastly happens.
That's the key thing. And also you could say that you've got more patience, more tolerance, you're more chilled in life.
Potentially more time.
More time. So there are definitely some upsides, but unfortunately, there are some downsides as well. You mentioned the fact that people might end up being the carer, or they might worry about being the carer. The actual burden of that might kind of really affect them. Or you could just be the kind of child who gets picked on in the playground because your parents look different to everybody else's. And I speak from experience there, because actually my father was a lot older back then than my peer group, for example. And children can be cruel, and they can kind of zone in on the thing that makes you very different.
Well, what's interesting about these messages, quite a lot of people are saying that either they or people they know who had older fathers have been psychologically damaged by the experience. How would that happen? How would that damage be inflicted?
Well, it's partly to do with that anxiety of what is going to happen. All children at some point realise that their parents aren't going to be around forever. But somehow if your parent is older, those anxieties tend to kick in much earlier. And there is an expectation that maybe I'm going to have to look after my parents. Of course, any parent that has a child in order to be looked after by them is probably having a child for the wrong reasons. But at the same time, if your child is very unduly anxious about the fact that they might end up being your carer, or that simply they're going to have to deal with the trauma of the loss.
But Lucy, don't all children have to deal with that? I mean, you could be picked on for having an... I mean, I'm speaking as an older mum, but there, of course, is a limit with women, isn't there? How late you can have pregnancy, which men often don't have to face. Fertility is much more finite, and there's a definite clock. But, you know, they're going to be teased about all sorts of things, and part of parenting is, isn't it, to help youngsters cope with that? So that's less about age and more about good parenting, isn't it?
It's definitely about the fact that your child will have to deal with all sorts of things, and you will have to help them navigate that.
OK, can I come in there? Because, you know, this is textbop stuff, with all respect. The reality of it is that I go to pick up my child from the school. I go and take her to school occasionally. It's my wife's major job, of course, but I'm also there. I see none of that stuff. My little girl is full of personality, so is my little boy. I see no anxiety in the future for them.
Have you talked to them about? Have you talked to them? I know they're very little for them too, but
of course not.
Have you got plans to talk to them about it?
No, not at all. No, we're going to live our life, and we're going to. I'm not going to introduce them to the possibility of anxiety.
Well, can I just just say
have a
something.
wonderful time.
Yeah,
We're having a
don't
great time.
introduce it before it's needed.
Let's just say something here. This is from, where are we? Yes, Joanne. Hi, Joanne, from email. She says, hi, everyone. My dad was in his late 40s when I was born. He was the best. He had loads of patience. He spent loads of time with me and my sister. On the downside, he died when I was 14, so there are fors and against. But then my dad had me when he was 28, but he died when I was very young of a heart attack. So, you know, losing a parent often has nothing to do with age.
Exactly. It can happen at any time. And as you said, you are going to have to help your children navigate the life in whatever comes their way. So you may as well start very early on. And my father was also much later, but also adored me, and therefore I had that dimension to it as well.
You sound to me as if you're broadly in favour.
I suppose from my experience, I would say because I had the best dad ever, that actually it wouldn't really matter what age.
Well, the oldest
Can I
father in the
introduce
world is reportedly Ramjit Raghav in southern India, who had his first child at 94
So you've got all
and his
that way to
second
go.
child at 96. Is there a cut-off even for you, Peter?
Yes, last night was the cut-off.
All right. That's a good way to end it.